The Northern Renaissance refers to the cultural and intellectual movement that flourished in the regions of Northern Europe, particularly in areas such as the Netherlands, Germany, France, and England, during the 15th and 16th centuries. While the Italian Renaissance is often more well known, the Northern Renaissance was equally influential in shaping the intellectual, artistic, and religious landscape of Europe. This movement was deeply affected by the invention of the printing press in the mid-15th century, which allowed for the rapid dissemination of knowledge and ideas. One of the earliest and most important centers of this Renaissance was in the city of Bruges, in what is now Belgium. Artists, scholars, and writers in this region began to explore humanism, detailed naturalism, and the pursuit of religious reform, while still maintaining a distinct Northern style that set them apart from their Italian counterparts. The role of humanism in the Northern Renaissance. Humanism was a key component of the Northern Renaissance, as it had been in Italy. However, in the North, humanism took on a more religious tone. Figures such as Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam, who was born in 1466 and died in 1536, played a significant role in merging classical scholarship with Christian theology. Erasmus's work, including his critical editions of the New Testament, helped fuel the growing interest in scriptural study and reform. Northern humanists believed that by returning to the sources of Christian faith, such as the Bible and the writings of the Church Fathers, they could reform the Church and society. This emphasis on Christian humanism was one of the factors that helped lay the groundwork for the Protestant Reformation, which would begin in the early 16th century. Artistic developments in the Northern Renaissance. In terms of art, the Northern Renaissance was marked by an incredible attention to detail and a focus on realism that exceeded even that of the Italian Renaissance. Artists such as Jan van Eyck, who died in 1441, and Albrecht Dürer, who was born in 1471 and died in 1528, were pioneers in this regard. Jan van Eyck, for example, developed new techniques in oil painting that allowed for greater depth of color and realism. His works, such as the famous Ghent altarpiece, are celebrated for their intricate detail and naturalistic portrayal of figures and landscapes. Dürer, a German painter and printmaker, combined the meticulous detail of Northern art with the classical idealism of Italian art, creating a body of work that was highly influential throughout Europe. The printing revolution. One of the most important technological advancements of the Northern Renaissance was the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg around 1450. This invention revolutionized the spread of knowledge and ideas, allowing for the mass production of books, pamphlets, and other printed materials. Before the printing press, books were copied by hand, a process that was labor-intensive and expensive, meaning that books were rare and available only to the wealthy elite or religious institutions. With the advent of printing, books became more accessible, leading to an increase in literacy rates across Europe. One of the first major works to be printed using Gutenberg's press was the Gutenberg Bible, which was completed in 1455. The spread of printed material played a crucial role in the dissemination of Renaissance ideas and the eventual rise of the Protestant Reformation. Religious reform and the Protestant Reformation. The Northern Renaissance was closely tied to the religious upheavals that would lead to the Protestant Reformation. Many of the intellectuals and artists of the Northern Renaissance were concerned with the state of the Church and sought reform. This desire for reform was most famously embodied by Martin Luther, who was born in 1483 and died in 1546. In 1517, Luther famously nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church, protesting against the sale of indulgences and other corrupt practices within the Catholic Church. Luther's ideas were spread rapidly thanks to the printing press, and his writings helped to ignite the Protestant Reformation, which would lead to the splintering of the Catholic Church and the creation of various Protestant denominations. Monarchs and political changes during the Northern Renaissance. The Northern Renaissance was also a time of significant political change. In England, King Henry VIII, who reigned from 1509 to 1547, broke away from the Roman Catholic Church and established the Church of England, primarily so that he could divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. This event, known as the English Reformation, had profound consequences for the future of England and its relationship with the rest of Europe. Similarly, in France, King Francis I, who reigned from 1514 to 1547, was a major patron of the arts and an important figure in the spread of Renaissance ideas in France. His court attracted artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, and he played a significant role in promoting the ideas of humanism and classical learning. The role of the Roman popes. The papacy played an important role during the Renaissance, both in the Italian and northern contexts. Pope Leo X, who reigned from 1511 to 1521, is perhaps most famously associated with the excesses that contributed to the Protestant literature and philosophy in the Northern Renaissance. The Northern Renaissance was also a time of great literary and philosophical achievement. In England, writers such as Sir Thomas More, who was born in 1478 and died in 1535, produced works that combined humanist ideals with social and political commentary. More's most famous work, Utopia, published in 1516, presented a vision of an ideal society based on reason and equality. In France, writers such as François Rabelais, who was born in 1494 and died in 1553, used satire and humor to critique the church and society. Rabelais' most famous work, Gargantua and Pantagruel, is a sprawling, fantastical story that reflects the intellectual curiosity and irreverence of the Renaissance. Science and innovation. The Northern Renaissance was also marked by advances in science and technology. While Italy was the birthplace of many of the great scientific minds of the Renaissance, such as Galileo Galilei, the Northern Renaissance was not without its own contributions to science. The German mathematician and astronomer Johannes Kepler, who was born in 1571 and died in 1630, made significant contributions to our understanding of planetary motion. His laws of planetary motion provided crucial support for the heliocentric model of the solar system, which had been proposed by Nicholas Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, in the mid-16th century. The spread of scientific knowledge was facilitated by the same printing technology that had enabled the dissemination of Renaissance humanism and religious reform. Legacy of the Northern Renaissance. The legacy of the Northern Renaissance is vast and far-reaching. It not only contributed to the intellectual and artistic culture of Europe but also played a crucial role in shaping the religious and political landscape of the modern world. The ideas of humanism, the focus on realism in art, the spread of knowledge through printing, and the religious reforms that characterize the Northern Renaissance continue to influence our world today. It was a time of incredible transformation, where the boundaries between the medieval and the modern were redrawn, and where new ideas took root that would forever change the course of history.